pledge, please? Flags are behind you.
You barely see them, but they're there.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Alrighty, we have got 2 people signed up to speak. Josh Willick, is it Willick? Okay. All right, you're up, sir.
All right, can I stand right here?
You can go ahead and come up here if you'd like.
Okay.
And I will tell you the same as I tell everybody, you get 3 minutes. You can say whatever you want within reason, but we can't respond because it's typically something that's not on the agenda, so it's a violation.
Sure.
Okay, go.
So my name is Josh Willer. I am the owner and head coach of Texas Elite Swimming that's based out of Round Rock, Texas. I am also the director for the Lago Vista summer swim team that I just currently picked up this past summer. And I just talking with some of our parents and opportunities I see here in the community, wanted to open a conversation about potentially having a bond through the school to build a swimming pool here at Lago Vista for a multitude of reasons. One, we could have a year-round swimming program here. Ideally, Texas Elite Swimming would occupy that space. And we'd also be able to provide year-round swim lessons, seeing as that we are a lake community, and every year there's unfortunately drownings every year at Lake Travis, and trying to prevent those things. I think this is something as Lago Vista is growing. Obviously they're expanding the roads. There's lots of new builds of homes out there and everything, and with Treviso being very close and having a lot of people in the area, it could be a great opportunity to have some great cash flow for the school and an opportunity to teach kids how to swim and be safe and give them another sport here in the area. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right, Michael Painter.
Hello. I just wanted to take a few moments and I've been prompted to do this a couple of times. It's kind of prescient that it's at this time where there's a leadership change. But on the note of what leadership is, I've been at the high school. This is my 9th year there, and I've had different principals, and they're all great. But the current principal, Ms. Castillo, it's the level above. So I like to say that leadership is a practicable skill and that it continues to evolve over time. She did not come in and take charge, but she is taking care of those in her charge. I think that's one of the defining parts of a leader that make her the exemplar. So I'm a very driven person, and so when she came in, it made me check myself, like, am I giving my best? Am I able to inspire my students day to day? And am I challenging them so that they can be their best and be able to pass that down the road? So she is in that arena. She wears it. They have worn it. As far as the stress from outside, I think that for her especially, she kind of takes on too much, and she does it well. I mean, the jobs are still getting done, but they're not just getting done, they're getting done extremely well. So she is an inspiration to me. I believe she's an inspiration to the staff, and you see that as she builds relationships with the students too, not just the staff. But I know that she is of that personality type and leadership drive that she will absolutely give away the credit when they win, and also take the heat when things don't go right. But I can guarantee you, she has the utmost integrity and intent to be the best principal that I've ever experienced. It's just an amazing thing to be there every day. So that was kind of it. So, but thank you for hiring her and bringing her in.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
And thank you for what you do as well.
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Tanner, for what it's worth, I'm lucky enough to be a parent of one of your students. I assure you, you are inspiring and challenging them, so thanks for what you do too.
Thank you. Weston's amazing. A lot of your students are your kids. I've had them, and they're all great. So thanks for being the parents that raise those young men and ladies. Literally, because they make my class better. Because that leadership that I try and curate that you start at home, it's infectious. So it lifts up the whole class, and that class culture is part of it. And that's what Ms. Castillo does. Is she does that. And she's leading from the front with her heart too. So it's amazing. But thank you, Ms. Walker. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 3, vote on the superintendent. Need a motion?
I move that we take action to hire the superintendent, Dr. Kern, as the superintendent for Lago Vista Independent School District.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Did you get both of them, Holly? Greg and Rich. Greg and Rich. Any further discussion, comments?
I think the only comment that I would offer is that, especially for those that are curious about the process, we started this back in August where we posted the role and we left it open for 30 days. When we closed the window for applications in September 15th, we had 51 applicants for this role. It's a lot of applicants. And by the way, none of them are unqualified. It wasn't people just applying for jobs, hoping to get jobs. These were all 51 qualified applicants for this role, which tells me this is a destination district that people want to be part of. We met 2 days later as a board. We whittled those 51 down to 9 folks that we wanted to interview in person. Of those 9, 7 accepted our invitation. The 2 that didn't decided that the compensation was not in line with what they expected because they were at bigger districts. And the other one wasn't able to meet our requirement to live in the district. The next week, we met over a period of 3 nights where we interviewed in person. The first night, 3 people, the second night, 3 people, and the last night, 2 people, and then we deliberated and whittled those 7 very qualified candidates down to 2 extremely qualified candidates. The next week, we gathered at my home over the course of 2 nights where we invited not only the candidates, but the spouses to come in and have a socialization atmosphere. We can kind of be a little more casual, but also then have a follow-up interview and dig even deeper into some open items that we maybe wanted to pursue. And then we reconvened on the 16th, which is public record, where we named Dr. Kern as the lone finalist. It's since then that we've left it open for anybody in the community to raise concerns, offer feedback, and so far, at least for me, I've only heard positive things as a result of our lone finalist announcement. And then, of course, went through the usual contract deliberation and negotiation, which is what's being presented to the board tonight. And of course, I'm supportive of that. So I think Dr. Kern is a fantastic choice. She comes with over a quarter-century of experience in the education space. Most recently, she's been at Ingram ISD for not just a short period of time, for a very long period of time, where she served as Executive Director of Curriculum and Education for 2.5 years. She served as Assistant Superintendent for 6 years, and most recently, in the last 6 months, has been the Interim Superintendent. I would be remiss if I didn't point out the fact that Ingram ISD is an A-rated school district, something that we strive to be, with 2 of the 3 campuses in that district also individually recognized as an A-rated school. So with that, I think it's a fantastic recommendation, Greg, and looking forward to it.
I'd like to add to that. It's just prior to all that happening is that this body here met with our consultant to identify what we felt was important as a board to look for in the next superintendent. And then once we had done that, our consultant helped us formulate, okay, what are the criteria we're looking for? And so once we did that, then he went out and he talked to the administrators, he talked to the campus leaders. So there was more inclusion. It just wasn't this body of 7 people up here. And then also he had opportunities to talk to people in the community. So this was a collective effort where we didn't just act individually, but we sought the input from the professional educators that we have on staff, the people that are actually educating our kids, and then we went out to the parents, so they had an opportunity to tell us what was important. So, and I'm very happy with the result that we have.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Welcome. We do also have the, to vote on.
Wait, real quick. I thought she had to do a speech from there.
Don't get her started.
Love it, love it.
She's ready.
Get ready, Dr. Kern, it's gonna be a ride.
We also have to vote on our contract as well. Everybody's seen that, has it? Any motion?
I move we approve the superintendent contract as presented.
A motion?
I'll second.
Isai, seconded. Rich got the motion. Any additional questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
That's where you clap.
Alrighty, discussion and approval of superintendent emeritus appointment. Everybody's got agreement? Comments, questions? Need a motion?
I move we approve the superintendent emeritus appointment for Mr. Webb.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Alrighty, we need to canvass the returns and declare results of the trustee election.
Okay, so had an election this past November, or a couple of weeks ago, and we need to canvass the results of the election and approve the results. We'll read through the results place by place. And so place one, we had Daniel Carroll receiving 506 votes, Brian Collar receiving 889 votes, and Sarah Jane Cantwell with 1,369 votes, for a total of 2,764 votes. And with the 1,369, Ms. Cantwell received the place one win for the Board of Trustees. Place two, there was a total of 2,675 votes, with Gerald Roach receiving 1,090 votes, and Michelle Coronas receiving 1,585 votes, thus providing Ms. Coronas the place for place two. And then in place three, I had a close race by E.C. Arredondo with a total of 2,147 votes, and he was unopposed, so he is will secure place three. And so I'll need a motion to approve these results.
I move that we approve the results.
I second.
Greg made the motion, David Scott seconded. Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Oath of office. Step right up, you two newbies.
Isai, you have to do this too.
Sweet.
I'm going to read the statement of elected officer, and then you'll swear, and then we'll do the voting.
Okay, good. Just have to do it after.
Do you solemnly swear that you have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which you were elected, or as a reward to secure your appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And to make this easier, I'll read the oath, and then again, each of you can respond to affirmative. Okay. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully execute the duties of the office of trustee of the Lago Vista Independent School District of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of this state, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
Let me get some signatures and then.
All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and take a brief 15-minute recess for a few comments and celebration. I think it's awesome to have so many people here tonight for a positive reason instead of a negative one. So with that, 15-minute break.
Okay, before we get started, I'd like to, first of all, welcome our new board members. I know y'all are going to do a great job, and I look forward to working with you over the next several weeks. You guys are replacing, I guess you could say, two legends. We want to recognize two of our board members tonight. I had to write this down because I certainly don't want to forget this. You know, to serve 18 years on the board is pretty incredible. And so just during those 18 years, I will say that all of their kids graduated from Lago Vista ISD, which to me is a big thing. Between Laura and Gerald, they have over 36 years of board experience. Both have served as board president during their tenure and both passed bonds during that tenure. They passed 4 bonds while on the board. They passed 1 TRE and 1 VAERS. So that's 6 referendums, and that's a lot. That's a lot of work, a lot of board meetings. They've been a part of hiring 3 different superintendents now, with Dr. Curran being the 3rd one. And we all know that takes a lot of work and time to go through the process of that. I think it's safe to say they have attended close to probably 400 board meetings in their 18 years. And I know when I first got hired, they were going through construction, and there was about 30 board meetings between June and December in that 1 year. So 400 nights away from their family, away from their kids, says a lot about those two. Let's see, they worked alongside other board members to make the best decision for the students of LVISD. I can say I've been here 11 years, and I have never once looked at another job because not only of those two, but it's for the whole board. We have a great board, great to work with, and those two certainly had a hand in it. So we decided that after 18 years, that should qualify them to earn a letter. Instead of giving them a letter jacket, because I don't think they would wear the letter jacket, we have decided to provide them a letter that goes on our letter jacket. And so I first want to recognize Laura Vincent, current president, was president during COVID. And we all know how much fun that was. Laura and I had a lot of discussions. I can remember one, I was in the Walmart parking lot, and we were having to make some tough decisions, that's for sure, during COVID. Laura, I know you won't miss all my text messages. Hey, do you have a minute for me to call you? We've had a lot of phone calls over the years, and I just want to thank you for your service. You have always stood for what's right, when right wasn't always easy. And I can honestly say that, and I'll say the same thing to Gerald, because y'all have made some tough decisions that have probably been easier to go a different direction, but you stood for what's right, and I respect that 100%. So, on behalf of Lago Vista ISD, we want to present Laura Vincent with deep appreciation to Laura Vincent for your steadfast leadership, care, and commitment to our schools. 2007 to 2025, the LVISD Board of Trustees. So, Laura, if you'll come up. We're just going to get a picture here and we'll get one with Gerald as well.
Great idea. How many do you have in the closet?
2, actually. 3.
Yeah.
2.
just hang loose just for a second.
Okay.
Okay, next we have Mr. Rogie. Took me a while to remember how to spell Gerald. You know, I was spelling with an A instead of with an E. But, you know, Gerald's been another steadfast, solid board member for us for the last 18 years. Gerald was the president that actually hired me 11 years ago, and I can remember heading to a football game, and Gerald called me, and he said, Derek, we want to name you the long finals for the Lago Vista job. So, Gerald, I'll always remember that. That was a special time for me and my family, and so I appreciate our friendship and for what you stand for. Gerald serves on our safety committee and has not missed a meeting in probably 4 or 5 years. Safety is big to him, and so I just want to thank Gerald for his dedication, for his service for the last 18 years. And with his plaque, it says, with deep appreciation to Gerald Rogie for your leadership, commitment, and vision to our schools, 2007-2025, Lago Vista ISD Board of Trustees. So Gerald will come forward. Okay, if we can get one for Laura and Gerald.
I don't know. You don't want to get in there, Darren? I know your kids probably want to get pictures too, right?
Okay, with that being said, we want to thank both of them for their long-time dedication, for their support for our kids and our school district. And so, on behalf of Lago Vista ISD, thank you so much for your time and dedication. So, thank you so much. So we're going to take about a 15-minute break. We have cookies and punch and lemonade in the back. Please take time to visit with Laura and Gerald and Dr. as well.
Just come give Laura and Gerald your hugs and congratulatory thank yous, and we'll get started when things start. 3. Before we move to the next agenda item, a heartfelt welcome to both Michelle, who's giving final hugs over there, and Sarah Jane. Father, I guess. Michelle, Sarah Jane, welcome to the board. Heartfelt welcome. You have huge shoes to fill, and I guarantee you both Laura and Gerald want nothing more than for you to fill them, so welcome. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 7, board reorganization.
Okay.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Okay, so with Laura, no longer president, want to thank her and Gerald for their service again. We will need to have a nomination motion for president for the board.
I move we nominate Kevin Walker, president.
Okay. You got it. Colin?
Yes.
Okay, have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, David Scott with a second. Any discussion?
Let's just pause for it.
Okay. No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Mr. Walker, congratulations, Kevin.
Move on. We'll move on to open nominations for the role of vice president. Do you have nominations for vice president?
I move Isai Arredondo for the vice president of the board.
I'll second. Nomination is second for Mr. Arredondo for vice president. Any further nominations?
Who seconded that? Greg?
I did.
Thank you.
Seeing no further nominations, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7. And we'll move on to the office of secretary. Do I have any nominations for the role of secretary?
I move that David Scott, be the secretary of the Lago Independent Schools Board of Trustees.
I'll second.
We got a nomination by Greg, seconded by Rich for David Scott, the role of secretary. Any further nominations? Seeing none, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 7. You can't. I mean, you can, but it's too late. All right, Mr. Stoner, moving on to the first report, public hearing.
Okay, so I want to thank Jason for being here and working extremely hard throughout the year. We get a first report rating every year, and of course we got a superior rating in this year. I don't know exactly how many years that makes it, but we're very fortunate to have Mr. Stoner as our CFO, and so we're going to have a public hearing. We'll need to open that up, Mr. President, at whatever time we start, and then we'll close it, and then we'll have questions at the end. So,
All right, we'll go ahead and open the hearing at 6:46 p.m.
okay.
Thanks, everybody. I thought I was the star of the show today with my first report. I'm disappointed that there's nobody here anymore, but anyhow, we'll be brief on this. This is something that we have to do every year. We have to have a public hearing to go over our first report. It's 2 years back, so this is over our 23-24 school year. Preliminary results were released at the end of the school year 24-25. They just became official not too long ago. And we have about 60 days to have a public hearing to discuss what those reports are. So we received a 96. I know last year we got 100. So I was slightly disappointed in getting a 96 this year or for school year 23-24. But I think it's actually better for us to be in this position than we were a year ago. And I'll tell you why that is in just a little bit. But I think we're stronger than we were a year prior because of this result. And I do think, we'll talk about this a little bit too, I think the scoring mechanism's a little bit off, and I'm lobbying to potentially have that changed here when we get to talking about it. But this is the 10th year in a row that we've had a superior rating. It's a bit of a moving target. Initially, there was 21 separate indicators or questions that we have to, or that we're evaluated on. They ended up dropping one of those, so they only ended up evaluating 20 of them. Like I said, it's a bit of a target, and the prior year there was 19, and then 16, and then there was 17, so it kind of moves around a little bit. But all the information from the indicators are pulled from our PEMS data and our annual financial review, or AFR, which happens, as you guys know, once a year. There's some staples that never change, and they're pass-fail. You have to hit these or you don't pass your first rating. It's whether or not your audit was unmodified and submitted to TEA on time, whether you meet all the required posting dates, make sure you pay all your debt, TRS payments, and then the health of your fund balance is another staple. You have to have at least 75 days in your fund balance. We have 109, so we're super comfortable there. If you don't have that 75 days, then they go to the next indicator or the next part of that question and ask if your fund balance has decreased 25% over a 3-year period. In 23-24, our fund balance was $8.2 million. That would mean that our fund balance would have to decrease over $2 million in that time frame. So we are super healthy in our fund balance. Getting into the weeds just a little bit, like I said, there's 20 indicators. I'm just grabbing a handful of them just to share with you how strong we actually are. Indicator 7, did the district have 90 days of cash on hand? That's different than fund balance. Cash on hand at the end of the year. Yes, we had 124.6 days of cash on hand at the end of the year. So we're super strong in that. Indicator 9, I picked this one on purpose because it says, does your revenues exceed your expenditures? And this particular in 23-24, they did, so that's great. But if they didn't, does your district have 60 days of operating? Yes, ours did, and then we have 124.6. In school year 24-25, when we adopted nearly $1 million deficit, we're going to come in as a deficit in 24-25. So it kicks in that second part of that question. We'll still have 95-ish days on cash on hand. So even though our revenues did not exceed our expenditures, we'll still get 10 points because we have over 60 days on that. So that's okay. Does your liabilities to asset ratio support long-term solvency? One, you consider enrollment. They want you to have 60% liabilities to assets. We have 62%, but because our enrollment's gained 15% over a 3-year period, we'll get 10 points on that because the threshold for enrollment is a 7% growth. If you have over a 7% growth, then they give you the points. So we have 15%, and then we're nearly at that 60% threshold, even if we didn't have that growth that we have in our district. Was the district's long-term debt 40%? This is one that I'm pretty proud of. 40% or less than our assessed property value. Yes, this board and this district's done a very mindful job of trying to defease bonds and paying bonds off early as much as we can. We front-loaded a lot of our bonds in 2022 to get a lot of that principal off the books. So our long-term debt is less than 20% of our assessed property value. So we're super strong in that indicator. And if you remember a few years ago, we only got 8 points on indicator 13, so that's always sort of on my radar. Administrative cost ratio, that's when they say how much do you spend on administrative costs versus instructional costs. They want that ratio, that percentage to be less than 11.51%, and we're at 11.09%, so we still get the 10 points, but that's legal fees or architectural fees or bonding fees or all sorts of things can make that administrative cost fluctuate. So we monitor that one pretty closely. But we're at 10 points this year, and we'll get 10 points again next year. It's 27, 28 we'll be a little bit worried about.
Jason, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Say that again about indicator 13, about the administrative cost being outside of our influence of...
Yes, so like if there's legal fees that the district has to incur based on...
Okay. So it's not fees, or pardon me, it's not salaries or anything like that?
Not solely salaries, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. We ended up getting 8 points, I guess, in 21, because that's when we brought Huckabee on to do a lot of our surveying and bond projects, and that allowed our administrative costs to creep up over that 11.51%.
Jason, can I ask something on 12, indicator 12? Long-term debt less than 20%, is that debt that is due outside of 1 year?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so just curious, what's the current portion of our debt as a percentage? Like for what's due in 1 year?
I'm going to talk about that
Okay,
in a
great.
little bit, yeah. So here's the star of the show today, indicator 8. This is this is where we lost 4 points. This is the reason for the 96 versus the 100. Was the measure of current assets to current liabilities ratio of the school district sufficient to cover short-term debt? So let's Cliff's Notes this a little bit. This is pulled from the audit, Exhibit A1 and Table 1 in the AFR. Your current assets is essentially cash. It's what you have on hand at the end of the year, and your short-term debt is essentially your bond payments that are within 1 year. There's a couple of nickels and dimes in there that don't move the needle a ton, but primarily it's your bonds payments that are due within 1 year. And they want you to have 3 times the amount of cash as to short-term debt. So this is what it looks like in the first report, and I can kind of point this out. This was 22-23. Our current assets were about 38 million and some change, where our current liabilities was 12 million and some change. That number jumped to 24 million, 24.6, but our liabilities went down to 11.1. So that's sort of like, holy smokes, where did that $14 million go? And if you read the audit said, well, it's because of the property tax relief that homeowners received in between 22-23 and 23-24. The homestead exemption went from 40 to 100,000, so you guys didn't take in as much cash. That paints a little bit of the picture, but the truth of it is that we got off a ton of construction money from 1 year to the next, and that is included in that cash. So when we were building the expansion to the intermediate or the elementary school, that building, that most of that construction cost was within 23-24. So that's why our cash went down quite a bit during that year. And that's the beef that I have with this, is that every school district that's getting off a ton of cash with bond projects is going to get hit by this, and it's not really a true reflection of cash within the controls of the school district. The community has passed that bond, the community wants this to happen. Why should your first report be penalized because you're doing what the community has asked you to do? But that's for another argument to have. Our current liabilities is our debt within 1 year. That's on a schedule, and we did that by design. In 20 and 22, we knew and we know that there's another bond coming. We don't know what that bond is exactly, but we know that it's potentially a large one. Could be a smaller one and then a large one, but we know that sometime in 2030, we need to start talking about that. So by design, we structured our bond payments to be front-loaded so that we can create some capacity on the back end to take on another bond without really impacting our tax rate too much. And if that runway was longer, if we don't need that to happen, we have the ability as a board, or you have the ability as a board to defease bonds, to pay bonds off early and carry less debt and increase that capacity even further moving forward. So all of that was by design. So our liabilities stayed relatively consistent while our cash is going down, and that's why you see that score being what it was. So what does all that mean? Well, we didn't receive a perfect score, so that kind of is lame. I have an argument that maybe that indicator should be removed, but we still got our superior rating. But there are definitely some positives in this situation. Number one, the taxpayer paid less money to the school district between 22-23 and 23-24. That would be considered a win. And then the construction became closer to finishing as we got off all that cash. So that's definitely a positive to us. We increased our bonding capacity for future projects. That is definitely a plus for us. And the district itself saved millions of dollars in interest payments, and we carry less debt as a district, which will help our ratings as we try to go out for that next bond. It saves the district money and not paying those exorbitant interest fees year over year. So we're in a better position because of what we did. And yes, we got 4 points off of our first report because of it, but I feel like we're stronger moving forward because of it. 24-25, this coming school year, when this first report comes out, this is when the indoor facility money is going to come off the books. So you're going to see a ton of cash being dropped again. But we're also going to see a reduction in our short-term liabilities. So both numbers will go down, but that top number is going to go down at a higher rate than that liabilities number. So we're going to see probably a 4 or 6 point score on this next year on our 24-25 first report. So to ask or to speak to Mr. Scott's question are we good? Absolutely, without a doubt, we are good. We're very good. Our INS fund balance exceeds $4 million, with future debt obligations never exceeding $6.5 million. So year over year, I think next year our obligations maybe $3 or $4 million. The next year it's $3 or $4 million, and it creeps up again to $6.5 million. The board has chosen to defease again in 24-25. So that $6.5 million could actually go down when we defease again in this particular school year. And then it's going to take some action from the board to continue to defease moving forward. Legislation has made defeasing a little bit more of a challenge as we move on. It will require some board action, and a certain percentage of the board, 67% of the board, moving to continue to defease if we choose to do that. Our annual INS revenue intake is about $10 million and some change over a year, with our debt obligation never exceeding $6.5 million. So it's carved out that we can defease money as long as we need to until that next bond approaches. And then LVISD has nearly completed both the 20 and 22 construction projects, so we're right at the end. We're down to nickels and dimes with what's left there. And we've set ourselves up to prepare ourselves for another bond moving forward that will have zero impact potentially on taxpayers for that next bond, whatever that bond is going to be. So ultimately, it's my belief that we're in better shape moving forward by not getting 100 on the first report this year than when we received 100 last year. I want to thank everybody who's helped row the boat on this one. Jennifer Stastny and Lacola Harper, they're our business office, and they make this operation move. Dusty Traylor from RBC, our financial advisor, he's the one who really assists and advises us on how we set these bonds moving forward. And of course, Holly, Darren, Susie, and Tina for all the work that they do, making sure PEMS data is correct and communications are correct, and just being a sounding board for all of us to make this possible. But I believe Lago Vista is in a very, very good shape financially. I don't know if you saw news, but Austin ISD borrowed $20 million to make payroll last month. School districts across the state, even though the infusion of all the money came in, it's earmarked to go certain places, and it makes it pretty difficult for folks to make payroll often. So I'm happy to say that we are not one of those school districts. So that's all I have. Thanks.
How long does this process take?
The first report?
Yep.
Or the audit takes months
Okay.
to do. The audit started end of October, and I got 4 questions over the weekend, so we're a month in, and it will go all the way up until January.
Got it.
PEMS data is submitted 4 times over the course of the year. All the AFR, the annual financial review, and the PEMS data builds this first report. And once they have all that data, they shove it into the testing mechanism. They give you preliminary results that you can argue, and then 4 to 6 weeks later, they give you the final.
So all that to say, the whole thank you. I agree, because for those of you that may not know, long, arduous process it is. And this team does a great job to get us where we need to be. How many years have we been? Did you say 10 years? 30 years?
Yeah.
So that in itself, I feel like we've always been great with our finances. Having great financial leaders like yourself and others to support you. So keep doing what you're doing. We made a strategic move, right? We got 4 points knocked off, but we knew. And we knew what we were doing, and we were better because of that. So thank you for explaining that. Totally understand. I don't know if you have influence to be able to go change that calculation or ask for an exception, but if you do, always do that. And at the end of the day, we need to showcase these wins, right? And I've said this time and time again, we somehow need to make sure that from a financial perspective, we're doing awesome. We're rock stars. And so if we can do that, just to make sure that the community is aware of the great job that you're doing. So thank you very much for that.
Jason, how much money do we have left from the 2022 bond?
That's not allocated, probably less than $100,000.
Anything left in 2020?
No. The money's still at the bank. it's allocated to certain projects, but we don't have much left.
Any other questions from the board or community? This is open hearing, so public can ask questions.
I have a
Lisa?
comment. I think it's awesome that they said go for the bond. You're always, when you're promoting it and stuff, it looks like there won't be a big effect as far as the taxpayers, depending on how long you go for it. That's good.
Yeah, Dusty Trailer will be here in January to kind of give you some more detailed perspective on what defeasance looks like beyond this school year, if we choose to do that, what our bonding capacity is, if we choose to go out for a bond, a small one, a large one, or just whatever that looks like. We wanted to get him in front of you to talk specifics that he can speak to as well. So he'll be here in January.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Hearing closes at 7:04 p.m. Before moving on to agenda number 9, just for those watching from home or here, I failed to mention, it's normally tradition that you have a bit of a reception for the newly announced superintendent. Tonight we chose to honor the outgoing board members. So we are going to have a superintendent night on Wednesday, November 17th at 6:30 p.m. over at the MAC at the high school.
December.
All right, I wrote down that. I meant last
December 17th.
Yeah, sorry, 1 month from today, actually. We'll be over at the MAC, the high school, again, 6:30, and we'll put it on all the formal announcements. It'll be an opportunity for you to get to know Dr. Kern, both staff, administration, and the community. All right, moving on to number 9, considering the approval of a resolution around our nomination of folks for the TCA.
Yes, so you have in your packet, you have people that has kind of wanted to be considered as one of the board of directors of the Travis County Appraisal District. This is a resolution, and as a board, we have a total of 12 votes, which if you were to see what some other ones, some of them have 300, 500, 600 votes, so 12 votes is not a lot, but that's what they give us. And so we do have one Lago Vista citizen, Mr. Paul Roberts, that is running for the board of directors. We have 12 votes. As a board, we can divide our votes among the different nominees, or we can put cast all 12 votes for one person. So I'd like to get the direction of the board on that.
Everyone understand what's going on?
Yeah, I mean,
Thoughts?
only local person running, I don't have any problem supporting.
I've always abstained. I think in this case, Lago needs a place at that seat. Paul did carry a lot of community support during his tenure as a councilman, and so that's why I'm going to align with the community as whole, because they did support me.
I move we support Paul Roberts with all 12 votes.
David second.
So we got a motion from Rich and a second from David, that all 12 votes from the LVISD be allocated to Mr. Paul Roberts of Lago Vista. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 7-0, Holly. All right, in the consent agenda, you'll have in your packet any, anything you need to pull out, or we good to move forward?
Get Jason to collect some money.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
We got a motion on the floor from Greg, second by Sarah Jane to approve the consent agenda as printed. Any commentary or discussion?
I'm just curious, where's the money for the purchases coming from?
The buses.
The bus, I mean, for the van and for the track.
2022.
Okay.
And that's part of the allocated gets down to the bus. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 7-0. Darren, let's move on to your superintendent's report.
Okay, not a lot this month. I do want to report that TEA has performed 2 door audits within the district, one being at the high school. last month, and then the other one being at the elementary while we were having a fire alarm go off. So, like Carrie said, it's always something. But I am proud to report that both of those campuses passed. And then, of course, our intermediate middle school will be audited at some point between now and the end of May. So I'd say for Carrie to have the auditor show up while we're doing a fire drill, kind of stressful, but all the doors working properly and locked. And so just wanted to let the board know that both of those campuses have passed their door audits for this school year. We do have a third-party safety audit coming up in the spring. PCAT does that, so this is a different audit than what we had last year. This is a 3-year annual, and then once they complete it, then that will be reported to you guys sometime spring or summertime. So just wanted to give y'all those updates. That's all I've got.
Can I ask a question? How does the auditor doing those door audits, how do they present themselves to the campus administrator?
Well, they'll show up, and they will try to go to a door and just see if they get open. If they get approached by someone, they identify themselves, they go straight to the office, check in, and then they go with the principal or whoever is assigned to the door audit. They will go with that person and check every door, exterior door of all the campuses. So high school takes a while, intermediate takes about 5 minutes, because there's not many doors that is outside the 8-foot fence area. So they do try to get in. Mr. York, he takes pride in catching them before they get too far, and he really does. He takes pride in that. And but yeah, they will try to get into a door, and of course, if it's locked, then they'll go to the front. If they are met by one of our staff members, then they identify themselves at that point. So,
Yeah, I was just curious. Yeah.
So.
Any other questions for Darren? All right, we'll adjourn into closed session at 7:10.
2 short items. No, I'm good. Yeah.